Greetings, everyone. Hawksblood here. I don't know how this is going to work out. It's the first time I'm doing it, and I can see the voice sync is out. A couple of things are a little messed up already. But I'm going to try to get this message out today. I'm going to keep getting it out one way or another. All right. Everybody's texting me now all of a sudden. Okay. Here's the deal. There was never spiritual people here, ever. Unless you go back as far as Atlantis. But I want to start at the beginning. Not in Atlantis, but in where we're at right now with what's happening, what's going on. Anything we could do about it or not. So let's go. Let me try to get through this and see how long we're going to be able to do this. I want to start with what is wrong with the planet. Can you think of anything wrong with the planet right now? I could probably say there's a lot of things wrong with it, but can you? Or do you think everything's the way it's supposed to be? It's not. That is one big lie. It's what it's supposed to be, is everything what's happening. No, it's not like that. I just got checked. I'm online at least. We'll see how far that goes. All right. So we have two serious problems going on in this present moment, present time frame. One is the way man thinks. And part two of that is his ego. But now let's go into that real briefly. Who's to blame for that? Think about it. Man, their parents, the grandparents. Who's responsible for the way a man thinks? It's all programming. Religion's a program. Everything we do is based out of a program of some other person's view, ideas created from some other time frame by other people. I'm going to go into that. Who's really to blame and how we're going to deal with that. The subject matter will be, right now, I'm going to go into this because it's critical. Women's rights. Aliens here and now. Love and sex. God and demons. All right. I'm going to start with the truth and end with the truth, meaning nothing but the truth, the whole truth. So help me God. The first sickening issue, which means all women, if a woman's out there listening, should be wake up, or should have woke up already, is the idea of letting men make any control of any decision that's theirs to make. Now, this whole thing about abortion and everything, we're going to go into that deeply because it's sickening, disgusting, and every other word you want to put into it. And if I had a plastic bat, I'd be beating everybody up into a pulp because they're all ignorant. Sorry, I consider myself a semi-balanced person to truth and to God. But when it comes to the ignorance of man, I lose it. I totally lose it. The rights of man, thinking they have the right to control women under the name of religion. Well, what's that mean? Well, it means Christianity and Muslims. Both Christians and Muslims, sorry. Two paths, believe in killing and abuse to women at some level, some way. And I'll get into it. Well, Christianity doesn't. Well, yes, they do. Killing is like one of the worst words that exist on this planet. And it's accepted by every race. How is that? Now, we're going to go into that a little deeper, but let's start with the sex thing. You know, we're talking about women not having a right to have an abortion. Excuse me, I'm losing my voice already. Well, when a man plays with himself and they do something, they are killing cells. Those cells can create life. Does anyone care about them? Of course not. But when a man rapes a woman, they can even get away with it. How many people care about that? Well, how many people are doing anything about it? I don't see people writing letters all day long complaining. I do. Now, let's take that into reality. Why, how come, and all that. In the Hasidic Jewish religion, and I'm not making this up, it would be hard for you to find out because they don't talk about their own truth. Nobody talks about truth. Nobody wants to face it. But in the Hasidic Jewish path, and the way you can tell a person's a Hasidic Jewish person, most men have braids down the sides of their face, long hair, and a beard. Children have braids and sideburns all the way down as well. All right. A woman cannot get married in that faith unless they're a virgin. Unless they're a virgin. You know what a virgin means? Okay, if you do, how would anybody know if a woman's a virgin to get married? Well, the truth is, now this is something I learned a long time ago. I worked in a Jewish temple for almost a year. All right, it's disgusting. A priest does ceremony to make sure she's a virgin. Any man that would allow that to happen is I can't even say those kind of words. I don't want to get thrown off the air. Sickening words. But any man to stand by and let somebody else determine if their wife's a virgin? Well, I don't think they should know either way. And then again, because she's not, they can't get married in the Hasidic Jewish religion? It's pathetic. Well, a man proves that they're a virgin, and it's not even a woman. So you want to go how pathetic that is? All right. You need to really read the laws in these paths so you understand what I'm talking about. If you don't believe me, I have no reason to lie. My life's on the line always. I don't care. The only one I'm accountable to is God, not the president, the Pope, any other speaker or religious idyllic person. Okay, in the Jewish religion, in the Muslim religion, well, let's go back to that. They're allowed to beat their women, and they even allow them to get killed. Why? Read their foundation, and they're trying to come into the United States. It's a very sick idea. Now, for the people, the men in the Muslim religion, what they fantasize about life after death, which gives them their reason to live life. Another very sick, twisted idea. If you read the Quran, you will find it. Oh, my dog's going to go crazy. I'm sorry. Can't leave the show to go. He's in the other room. I'm going to try to close the door. Hold on 1 second. Kizzy, stop it! Well, all right. With the new laws coming out in the United States, listen to this. A man that goes out and rapes a woman or women can go to court and get free and go back out on the street. Or they can go to jail for a couple of years and then get back out on the street. We're going to go into that word because it's the most disgusting word, I believe, on this planet, rape. And at the same time, okay, when a woman is pregnant, it's not everywhere yet. They're trying to make it everywhere. That a woman can't get an abortion. That she has to have a child, even if she's raped. That means if the mother's sick and they have to say who's going to live, the child or the mother, they're going to have to pick the child. Well, as far as this whole thing, are you listening, women? Are you going to deal with the facts of who you are, what you are? Or are you going to let men control you? They always have. It changed after Atlantis went down. We're going to go over that. But here's the thing. If a sick person gets out of jail, goes out and rapes 10 women, they don't kill him. They put him back in jail. But guess what? Now these women have to have his child? Is that kind of like the sickest thing you ever heard? If not, you're mentally disturbed. You should be in a nut house, not anybody else. You should be getting raped in jail, whatever it is. But to think like that, you're thinking from an egotistical, sick-minded man. I'm not saying how many people aren't, but most of them are. So this woman has to have this child. And what'd she tell the child? What the father did, how he became a child? Or they have to hide it and pretend that that didn't happen and all those things. And then when he gets out of jail, or they have to have rights to let him see the child, all those things, it's pathetic. Well, again, if I was in a room with him, he would never get up again. People forget the laws that man lives by. They're made by men. They're not made by God. There are laws that are made by God, but nobody listens or wants to hear them. And who says them? Not many people. Oh, I wish I could get my dog to stop, but as you hear how aliens helped, now, help what? What did they help us do? Oh, they build the pyramids. Why did they build the pyramids again? What did they serve? How many people got to live in the pyramids? How many people lived in the pyramids? Think about that one. So we're going to build this giant pyramid for who? Ego was sickening. Somebody texted that women are so attractive. Well, I'm going to talk about that in a second, but why? What did they really help us do? Think about it. Come up with an idea. Tell me. And don't say technology, because technology was only given to Tesla in the present time. Oh, well, in those days, in ancient time, it wasn't called mechanical abilities and skills with tools and weapons. It was called psychic abilities. And we all had them. In Atlantis, we did anyway. I don't know how many people carried them on into Egyptian days, but they became pretty twisted and sick because they were following false gods. All right. So now, as you hear aliens helped us, watch Ancient Aliens, the biggest bull story on TV. A couple people with super big egos thinking that their ideas are important. Well, there's a statue of an alien, so they were the ones that helped build it. There was this, there was that. Well, even if it's partially true, so what? They didn't help us do anything good. G-O-O-D, good. Do you understand that? We're going to get into these whistleblowers and all these new age or UFO speakers as well. But children out there will be being created, but they will be Lucifer's desired children. A child born out of rape is already open for Lucifer to take control. It already has a negative energy dwelling within inside it. People don't care because people don't believe in Lucifer. They might believe in angels, which a lot of people do, even though they have no clue what angels are here for or what they do. Oh, they talk to me every night. I rise up and see Michael or Gabriel. And they, like Muhammad, well, I met with Gabriel and he told me 36 things and I write this thing on it. If you read what Muhammad was written down by what he was told by Gabriel, they contradict each other. Read them. I might do a show on it. I mean, he'll try to come out and kill me, but read it. Read their laws. Read how it got created. Read what it says. Read what Gabriel was saying. He contradicted himself every other sentence. So obviously it wasn't Gabriel. And at that time, how did a person prove what angel was an angel and what angel they were? And how do they know the difference between demons? They don't. Do you know demons can take on any form? Do you? I guess you don't. You probably don't. I mean, all these movies about exorcisms, they're real. The actual details and things, or some of them are over-exaggerated. But demons do step in the body. Demons do take over. Demons can say anything a person wants them to hear. Or take the voice and disguise as that person in that person's mind. You ever hear her talking in tongue? Well, my partner can do it. And I've been begging her to work with that. But, you know, some people don't want to deal with these abilities because most of them will destroy the planet, not help it. Psychic abilities right now would destroy this planet if anybody had one for, say, even 90%. If I could tell what was going to happen 5 minutes from now, I could go to every casino, walk out with all their money, and build the whole country. Again, they're not going to help mankind. Healing is the biggest farce as well. But I don't want to dwell on them, right? I got too much to get through before I go back into that. Now, these people talk about how much that God loves them. Man believes that, feeding the idea God cares about their sorry ass. Their sorry ass. Really? Why, if you're a person working and then you go out and cheat at night and you do drugs, you drink, and you think God really cares about you? Oh, yeah, I go to church on Sundays. And what's that mean? What's church? People don't even know what Jesus taught, and I'll go into that if I have time. But it has nothing to do with any of the things that man created from the ideas. Even when Jesus said, tear the temple down and there'll be 100 more here tomorrow. And he didn't mean physically go out and build them. It's a temple within, and people don't even know what that is or what it stands for and how to get in touch with it. It's not a place to go to. Moses brought people to a promised land that didn't exist on the physical world. And the proof is in the Bible. It says 4 generations, and the parents all died, and it was the children that got to the promised land. So again, what did they do when they got there? Kill the people. If you got a law that says thou shalt not kill, how can you kill anything? You can't. You classify it, rearrange it, and change the words and make it fit your ignorant ego. All right? So the Muslims do follow the Quran. All right? Now, if it comes into the United States, you're going to change your religion to follow theirs? We can't follow ours. Why should we follow somebody else's? If people aren't ready to fight, you're going to become victims, which many people will become, because mankind is not ready to step forward and fight for the truth. And I don't mean killing, because that'll never get you to the truth. Okay, the astral plane is where all soul goes when it dies. All souls, if they have a soul. Aliens go to the astral plane as well, but they come back, and a lot of them are reincarnating into humans, not aliens. Because aliens have no awareness, spiritual awareness, and they have very little feelings. And when they see people and they try to understand them, they said they're missing something. Well, but see, the perversion that got brought in was sex, the bad side of it, not the good side. No, they're not getting closer to anything in the past 2,000 years. Jesus came with the truth, but nobody heard him. A few souls did, but they weren't able to create it in reality. All right? I put my life on the line for this. I'll challenge anybody on this planet, anybody, anytime, any place, that whatever they're saying is a lie. Whoever they're talking about, it's a lie. They don't know God at any level. Conversation with God and all those kind of people that talk about God have no clue to God. God is not a loving being sitting in a chair. Oh, I love these people. They're so beautiful. We're evil, sick. And even Jesus said, you are not what you put in your body, it's what comes out. And we're disgusting at every level. To say we're spiritual? Really, if you didn't eat, live by the light, live within the light, I would say you're spiritual, but nobody does that. Even those people that give up food for a year. They get skinnier and skinnier, but they do it. They're getting in touch with it at least. Sure, they got to eat and get their body healthy again somewhere down the road. But we overlook the truth to fill it in with our perverted, twisted, mankind's perverted, twisted, sick lies. Now, let's go into another topic. I'm going to go back to that one, but let's go into this one first. For all the rich fools out there, anybody that has millions of dollars is only feeding their desire to stay here. And who feeds that desire? Only one being, one person, Lucifer. He's got an army. He's got the demons, the devils, and all them coming down here to work with us and control people that open up to it. And more people open up to that because they get something. God isn't to give you and supply you with things to make you want to stay here. If you did, you would never get back to God. Do you understand that? A simple little thing. It's not complicated. It doesn't take a super genius to figure that out. An oxymoron could figure that out. Okay. All the money, all the drugs they make trying to live longer. Where? In heaven? No, in hell. To say this isn't hell, tell me, where else in the universe and in the worlds where you can experience death, pain, suffering, see children get chopped up, abused, and all those kind of things? That's hell. I mean, if you're getting burned, but seeing a child get hurt is 10 times worse. So to say you're living in heaven or even close to it and that God's watching over you, he watches over the rapists and the killers and the murderers and the thieves and the liars and all those words. It doesn't. It doesn't give a hoot about you in this plane. Sure, some souls rise out of it and get into the high planes, past the astral plane, and God looks at them now, not before. You're still under Lucifer's control. You live in hell. You live and act the way it wants you to be. It or he, whatever. Lucifer's a he. For his own image, all the images that were ever shown, how he portrays himself, it's a he. But that's part of the ego that was created in man, especially with the fake story of Adam and Eve. And Lucifer is rolling that. If you don't watch the TV show Lucifer, watch it. It's on Netflix. Watch the whole series. It's not exact, but it shows you the in-between points that mankind doesn't accept or look at or even relate to. And you need to. You can't understand anything unless you look at all sides of it. The good, the bad, where it came from, how it got there, where's it going to go. We're going nowhere fast. And a matter of fact, the way we're going, we will have no place to go to. Is this world loving and compassionate? Compassionate at what way? In any way? Oh, I'm compassionate. Oh, I'm loving. Really? Love is falling apart at every level in the physical reality because mankind didn't learn what love was. Jesus also taught that, but he didn't spend his time teaching the disciples love. How do you teach love? You can't. But he did show it to them. And even the Bible doesn't put that in the Bible. Why? Because it's not about love. Love wasn't part of the 10 Commandments. All right. I hope you're following. If not, listen to it again. I'm not going to list all the bad things happening on this planet right now. It would take me a day to say them all. Seriously. So what I will do, I'll say the opposite. I'll say all the good things. Well, when man's thinking, the good thing is man's ego. Thinking they're helping the planet. Thinking they can help women. Now, that's all there is. There's nothing else. Man has not accomplished, achieved, or changed anything to attain a better spirituality on this planet. Meditation's going into la-la land. You need to go beyond that. Yes, it's getting in touch with the mind and people. And my partner's not here. I can talk. But the mind and the consciousness of that can be outside the body and be one with it, if that's what you perceive and want. But what's that mean? You're one with the consciousness that allows rape, sex, abuse, and all those things. And there's a way to get away from that, to never deal with it again. And that's to rise past the astral plane. And if you're ready to do that, I can give you techniques and ways and ideas to help you get there sooner in this lifetime than never. Because next lifetime, you'll start all over. But we're going downhill rapidly. And I don't see, I believe that part of the world, most of the world will get destroyed. And then those souls that are here might rise to a better level. But that's only thinking. I can go on with psychics that I know. Al Bielik, who was in the Montauk Project, went back in time and all that forward. And he said, 2039, the world is only about 30% of the population here. The cities are floating and robots control those islands. So that's where we probably will be if we move forward without destroying the planet. But we destroyed the water already. We destroyed the ocean already. I mean, the water we drink in our lakes and rivers and streams. We polluted the air. We polluted the ground that we stand on. All the animals are sick, dying, and now that they're trying to clone and half-breed humans with animals with insects, we're going at a very sick place. Nowhere good. All right. Over 50 years. What did man do in the past 50 years? What did we accomplish? Anything good? Every 25 years, it would take a giant leap. Do you see what we're doing? It's about sex at every level for man. It's in TV, it's in games, it's in anything you could perceive. I mean, the commercials are loaded with it. It's all programmed. Now, somebody asked me about sex and beauty of women, and I'll talk about that. We'll get into that. The movies that mankind has exposed themselves to, what are they helping us? Women is always the object of any movie. Whatever it's about, they have to have a pretty woman, and she has to be taking her clothes off. And that's a conditioning that conditions man to believe that that's the way it has to be, or should be. Now, I'm not even going to go into the gay thing and try to relate that to that right now. There's too many other problems with this whole thing already. It's out of control. It's the power over them already. It's a program. A child can fall in love with the person, a young person, an older person, and they're not thinking about screwing them. They're thinking about just love that person. It's the energy and stuff, which is different. But it's through parents and teaching. Well, we don't want to teach them about sex, and they hear the word sex. Oh, and then they have to hear their friends talk about it, and it just starts growing and become a possession of an idea. So, who's in charge of all that? Take a guess. One person. Aliens? Aliens helped instigate it after Atlantis went down. They reprogrammed mankind to kill. They didn't change our DNA. There was no need to. We are still the same as we were then. I'm not talking about the giants. I'm not talking about other alien races. The human race is exactly like they were when they were brought here a long time ago. 9 races were brought here. 9 different colored races were brought here, 5 left. But we are the same. 5 fingers, 2 eyes, a mouth, 10 toes, the same thing. Sexual body looks the same, the whole thing. A little bigger here and less there, but it's still the same. All right? Now, what about aliens involved with this? Well, there's 2 races that have sex with humans. But the Greys are not one of them. So when they abduct people, it's not about having sex with them. Reptilians and the Draconians and things like that, yes, it's part of their fun for coming to planet Earth. It's like a man going into a hookup parlor or a sex club. What fun can they have? That's what it is to alien races. They're not here to make us spiritual. They don't know what that word means. They have no concept of a real God, because you ask an alien, oh, well, the higher power created them. What higher power? And whose the highest higher power? And that's why nobody goes to the top. They go to the middleman all the time. Why is that? I never went to anything other than God. I mean, I tried to, and every time I tried, I almost died or got all kinds of serious problems in my life. Man has a program. Yeah. Have sex, have fun. But the idea of peace and love, like that's going to change the world? People that search truth say they're searching truth. Don't realize their role in life. And people say, well, I got to find my mission. Well, your mission is not to listen to Lucifer. Take control of your own life. Live the truth that you can find. And you'll create a lot less karma. But if you desire, I know if you watch Lucifer the movie, he goes, what do you desire? And people always have something deep-rooted inside them that they desire. Whether it's to become rich, famous, have 10 women, whatever it is, there's always that sick, secret desire. The only desire I have is that I hope I leave sometime in the near future. Which will happen. I'm not making it happen. I already tried that, and that didn't work. So I'm dealing with the way it has to go. Peace and love will not change the world or make it better. You're going to go into hell and make it better? I use a scenario. Go to an ant colony. Tell them to stop following the queen. See what happens. Are they going to listen to you? Tell a bee not to follow the queen. Is that bee going to listen to you? Can they live without the queen? Do they know what to do without the queen? What will it take for man to stop raping women? I mean, animals have sex when they need it. I mean, usually animals have it certain times of the year. There's few animals that have sex a lot. I mean, most of them have an agenda, like I want to do it once a year, or one season a year, or whatever. Not like man, where it has to be like every day, every night. I'm not saying it's wrong or right, but when it hurts other people, when it doesn't help anything, I mean, then it's wrong. What will it take for men to stop raping women? Cutting off their penis? I think so. Might be one way, but then they would get super angry and then think of other ways to torture women. But rapists should be allowed free on the streets? Is that the solution? Man's solution to rape? Pathetic. Now, out of all the things Moses did, he didn't write, I mean, he wrote the 10 Commandments, but he was given them. But he came up with 603 more. And very few of them have anything important, and most of them nothing. Almost all of them have nothing to do with God. Matter of fact, they other than the 10 Commandments, they don't have anything to do with God. It has to do with ego. But his one thing is, if it's wrong, whatever commits to sin, cut it off. So nobody would have arms, legs, be able to see or talk. I mean, that's the way it would go down. And rape being the worst crime on the planet, murder is not. We believe murder is. It's wrong. It's two of the top signs. Somebody wrote something really bad. I'm not going to say it, but judge has. Okay, I'm just lost track here. The programming that we have is based on one man's ego, meaning the judge. When a person goes to court, guilty or not, he makes a decision. And a couple months ago, I heard the minister, the judge say, "Oh, he's only 20 years old. He's got his whole life ahead of him. I only want to give him 6 months because he's young. That means he can have his whole life to rape 10 billion more people." But men will always stick up for men, and they will not stick up for women. Sure, I mean, I'm not talking about family thing and things like that, but if something happens, the man was just doing his thing, and she must have came on to him, and that's why rape didn't go to court for many years, because the women never got the person convicted. And I'm going to tell you a really dramatic thing on that real fast. But it's man's ego to keep women down. And I consider that based on Adam and Eve. Woman was taken out of the rib out of Adam. Really? You want to believe that? That's meaning that we were here and we created women. No, we didn't create women. God did, not man. I mean, man would create sex toys, which they're doing, and that's okay. No, it's not. For them, it is. Man is a sick, programmed animal. It wasn't like this in Atlantis, which was the only time it was different. But the alien races that came here changed that all. Man is sick, a sick, programmed animal. I mean, every bee follows the queen, every ant follows the queen. And men follow every wag of their tail that they can. All right. Now, here's something I want you to think about. And women, if you get this video and you're a girl, send it to every woman you know. You might not like everything else I'm saying, but here's something you have to think about. There was a movie out, Accused. Jodie Foster was the star in it. 1986 it came out. It was based on her going to a bar, partying, and getting drunk. Well, 6 people started grabbing her. 2 people held her down, while 4 people raped her. But, okay, there was people in the bar watching the whole thing. So who's the sickest out of them all? They're all sick. All right. But, okay, the final decision, 2 of them were convicted. 2 of them were let go. And the 2 people that held her down weren't even brought up on charges. And that was almost after 2 years of going to court and everything else. But it's based on a true story, a real live situation. All right. Now, those people that were in that bar, the ones that got away, they went home. Oh, we had fun today. Oh, we did this. And they lived their lives from there. How far did they go? What, did they suddenly become spiritual and say, oh, I have to pray to God and forgive myself forever? What happens to those kind of people? Nothing. Lucifer feeds them more, whatever they want. More life, more love in their sick ego. Now, this is a true story, what that movie was based on. March of 1983. A woman came out of a bar screaming rape. It was at Big Dan's Tavern, a bar located in New Bedford, Massachusetts. She had a jacket and 1 sock on, and she was screaming to a truck driver for help. All right, that's how it went down. Now, in the end of that, the 2 that were convicted, one got 6 to 8 years. One got 9 to 12 years. Now, the other 2 didn't get any charges. Now, does that make sense? 4 men raped a woman. Why should one get 10 years and why should one get away? The mentality of men is pathetic. And for women not to do anything about it after this long is even sicker. Women don't care, men don't care until it's in their face affecting them. They don't care what happens to children. Men love to abuse children and everything else. And it's even sad when they do it to their own child. I mean, it's sadder when they do it to their own child. But are they doing anything about it? My scenario is 25 years minimum. And whether they should ever be allowed out again, because after 25 years, they'll really be sick and pathetic. You don't convert a prisoner. A rapist and a murderer doesn't change into a loving being. Now, I'm going to throw this in real fast. If you're a Christian and you read the Bible, read Revelations. It says what sins can be forgiven and what sins can't be forgiven. So nobody in Christianity talks about the sins that can't be forgiven because men doesn't want to look at that. Well, I can go to confession and ask for forgiveness. In the Bible, it says different. Mother Teresa spent the last 2 years of her life dealing with prisoners, murderers. She started doubting God. She had money, which was against the law for their own religion to have a nun's not allowed to have tons of money. In her diary, she was doubting God. So playing with men in prison, which cannot be forgiven by God, is what she tried to change. A woman thinking she has that ability, which she didn't. All right. Now, this isn't acceptable. Now, here's a statistic. 1 out of 100 will be abused. 1 out of 5 girls will be sexually abused. 1 out of 20 boys will be abused. In child abuse, 34% are under 12. 34% of child rape or abuse is under 12. Every 2 minutes, someone is being abused or raped in the United States alone. Does that make you think about reality? You're living in heaven? You're living with spiritual people? You're growing spiritually? The rape has escalated. Sexual abuse, all those things have escalated. They're not going down. And that's why there's more and more population growing and growing. And poor people in Africa and other countries where there's no food, no supplies of anything, and they're having more children. Ignorance leads to ignorance. Truth leads to God. Truth doesn't lead to college. college, high school, and school doesn't teach anything about the word spiritual. When we talk about alien races, which there's many here, there's only a few of them that actually can interfere with us because they don't follow any kind of foundation of spiritual truth or even wisdom or knowledge, all those kind of words. They can't interfere. You heard that, sir. Well, they can't interfere until we ask for help. You know, that's a bull story. Another perverted, twisted idea. How many people does it take? I mean, how many jokes are there? How many people does it take to change a light bulb and all those kind of stories? How many people does it take, really, to ask an alien to come down and help us? And what are they going to help us do? Make better food? And meaning what? Make better toys? Meaning what? Does it have anything to do with spirituality? Do you have an idea what spirituality even means? I know you don't. Oh, well, I go to church on Sundays. What's that have to do with it? I pray to God. You pray to an image of a false idea of what a God is. How can you pray to something if you don't know what it is really? You can pray to Superman, pray to the Green Hornet, Captain America, pray to whoever you want. If you don't know them personally, or if you don't know if they're real or not, pray to it. See what you get. See what happens when you die. You think you're going to leave hell? You think you get out of hell by believing in fairy tales? Lucifer has most people where he wants them. My partner, Sergeant 18, we worked together for a long time, is talking about Lucifer a lot on his show. Stranger Universe, really check it out. It's really important because he's putting a lot of videos of pictures and stuff. I don't agree with him. He doesn't agree with me. He has his own truth. I have mine. I've proven mine. He says he's proven his. And the only thing I said to him, if you want me to believe yours, you have to believe mine. And that's hard because we both have a solid idea of truth. But most people have no clue to a truth. Well, I feel. Feelings and emotions come out of the mind, not out of soul. Soul is not the mind. I'm not going to go into that right now. All right. Who do you think has control over the world right now? God, Lucifer, or aliens? One hint, it's not God. But God doesn't need to. This is hell. It created Lucifer's place to be because it needed it. We need it. We can't let these idiot beings on this planet go into the higher spiritual realms. What do you think would happen? We can't, and it won't happen. And that's why God created deities, so-called gods. Now, the gods of aliens are not deities. Big difference. And you need to learn the difference because most men through history followed aliens as gods, which they were not. If you want to know, and I'm telling you straight out, you don't have to believe me. You don't have to believe anything I say. And you probably won't. There was no spiritual people here ever. Jesus was one of the people that came down with the truth to teach people how to become that. Nobody taught about God. Nobody. It was about compassion, respect, but not about God. Again, if you don't know what this subject is, how do you describe it? You can't. So how do you decide what has to be done for it unless you communicate with it? These people that say they talk to God, God said, love everybody. Love everybody? God doesn't love everybody. Oh, it loves everybody. Why? Because man wants it to. Should God, if you were God and all your children were raping each other, would you love them all? Oh, you're beautiful children. Just stop that. Don't do that. What would you say? Be good. Be good. Stop doing that. Your son just comes home and he just killed 10 children. Oh, stop that. Don't be so bad. Be nice to these people. Would you justify it? You think God has to justify ignorance and sick beings called humans? Never mind what alien races are doing. They eat us, whether you believe that or not. They're here for reasons. Every alien race has an agenda. And nobody in the UFO world will talk about it. Because most of them have no clue. Oh, they're going to help us. Oh, they want to destroy the planet. They will. And they are. They don't want to completely destroy the planet because they want to move here. Why do you think the world is becoming radioactive? And it is. The weather's changing. They don't need it the way it is. They can't live here the way it is. The reptilians can't live on this planet. The Greys can live here underground. I mean, we already destroyed 4 alien bases underground already. I don't even know how many more other than that. But we destroyed, well, we didn't destroy them. We actually stopped 2 major wars in space. And are they going to talk about that? Oh, no, we're on Mars. We're in Venus. We're here, we're everywhere. We got hundreds of space stations. And really, what people did they send there? Spiritual people or mass killers? Or program killers? Now, we're going to get into that a little bit later. I don't know how long. I'm running pretty long. I don't want to go over an hour because I know you're going to get bored at every level. Well, man knew what women really were in Atlantis. But 10,000, that's 30,000 years ago, over. But 10,000 years later, aliens played God, reprogrammed man, and they became mass killers and slaves. Evil to the bone. The Mayans, the Aztecs, were massive women and children killers. So they weren't spiritual. How do people relate to they were spiritual? Having a prophecy that an alien gave them, which is only partially true, considering they saw planets and they could travel the universe. They didn't have to say, well, oh, there's a planet coming or things like that. They knew it. Not like somebody was spiritual. I'm aware now. I know there's, you're tapping into what aliens project into your mind. The government can do that to every person on this planet, project thoughts into their mind by the HARP system. I don't get into that right now either, but that's fact. And you can hear people say, oh. People can't talk about the truth. People don't want to hear it. And our government does not want to tell anybody the truth either. They already went too far down the rabbit hole to come out and say, hey, we went down the rabbit hole to see what we could do. All right. We became slaves. Tesla created an earthquake machine in 1900. Who do you think gave it to him? How do you know that there was an earthquake machine? They didn't need what he needed. In the old days, meaning 10,000, 20,000 years ago, 30,000, well, the ending of the 25,000 year frame, psychic abilities were rapid. They can do things, levitate things. If you can levitate a penny, you can levitate a mountain. Just so you know, I was in the magic world for half of my life, which is not real, but I went into real magic, psychic magic, if you want to call it something, witchcraft. It's real, and it can't be used here and it won't produce anything positive. You may think what you think is positive. Oh, if everybody loved each other. If everybody loved each other, what would they be doing? We'll go back to John Lennon's days. Everybody would be having sex in the streets and loving it. That'd be a good thing. No, it wouldn't. People don't take any idea and bring it to the end. What would be the end result of that happening? World peace. Well, we all love each other. That means if somebody rapes your wife, you're going to say, hey, that was good. Thank you. How do you justify things? It only takes one bad seed, one rotten apple, however you want to word it, to fit it into your little squeezed up mind that's already programmed to the max. First off, you need to know what spiritual means. Do you? Do you have a clue? Does anybody out there talking in the UFO world, psychic world, religious world, oh, we're spiritual because I pray to God, pray to deities, pray to Batman. If you're praying to Batman, does that make you spiritual? Oh, no, he's just, well, you're praying to God. What's that mean? Well, God created us. How do you know that? Somebody said so. Really? Can you prove it? Can you even prove it to yourself? All I'm going to tell you is you have to prove something to yourself, whatever it is, even about death. I'm kind of going pretty long. I'm going to try to end it within the hour. Okay, those words, psychics, healers, shamans, masters, medicine people. Do you know who they are? Do you know who they really are? People with an ego. You know who the president is? A person with an ego. Thinking you have the right to make decisions for the world or for a country is only ego. You're not God. You can't stop things. You can't make things. You can try. You can blow a country up before they blow you up. But is that the spiritual solution? Again, you're in hell. If you choose to stay here, you're staying with Lucifer's army and you're becoming part of it. And that's why people are fighting, killing, raping, and abusing each other. If you don't accept that, I'm sorry. I don't know what else I can tell you if you believe that's moral, spiritual, or connected to God in any way. It is not. The Ten Commandments say nothing about love. Why is that? But those laws are perfect for the human world. How to live in this reality. Number one thing is thou shalt not kill. Have no false gods. But people don't know what a god is, so they follow anything they can. But the idea of 10 laws can make this world run perfect. Just 10. They didn't need 603 more by Moses, which were pathetic. Sex, you can't see people naked, or they have to be outcast. All those kind of things. It's just pathetic. He was a massive killer. He killed 3,000 people when he came off the mountain. He led his people around in circles until they died. And to get his people out of jail, slavery, he killed children. Do you understand that? Sure, he was killing them, and the Pharaoh was killing his. So if I kill your children, you're going to kill mine. Is that spiritual? Does that have anything connected to do with what God taught or wanted us to believe or understand, or no? Of course not. The ignorance of the human race is pathetic. I hate going out to the world and see people on the street. Hi, oh, beautiful day. Oh, beautiful day? What, because it's sunny out today? Go to California, go to Australia, go to Alaska. What kind of weather are they having? I mean, it's snowing like 10 feet. Oh, I mean, are you real? This is hell. It's not perfect. It never will be. It's not even be close to being the word spiritual. And if you think an alien race is going to come down and say we're a spiritual race, we're going to teach you how to become spiritual, can't teach nobody anything. You can only give them a way to do it. And Jesus did that. Jesus gave teachings to the human race. And they couldn't understand it then. Some people would be able to understand it now. But Jesus will not come back because there's not enough souls that will be willing to listen and follow what he's teaching them. Because the Bible would have to be thrown out the window. And people, oh, he can't, he's a false Messiah. Jesus said, you'll follow every false prophet out there, which they're doing. Even the concept of somebody channeling Jesus or God. An image of Jesus was over what country? And it was a reflection of a shadow. And, oh, it looked like Jesus. Oh, Jesus is over the city? Jesus is going to float around in a cloud and say, hi, everybody. Is that helping anybody, really? You think Jesus is going out of his way to waste his time? One of the most spiritual beings ever to walk this planet, that where he dwells now is still the most spiritual being there, is going to come here to wave to us? Are you people really that pathetic? Go follow your alien friends. Call these people out there that claiming that they work with aliens. They work with 10,000, 2,000. They operated on them. They live with them. They were on Mars for 10, 20 years. Really? And what'd you learn? Anything? What do you think you're doing in that time frame? What are you learning? If you were on Mars for 10 years, or even 17 years, like one of the speakers I just heard, what did you learn? Bashago, the person that says he went to Mars with the president. Really? And what'd you learn? He was blind for the past couple of years. He had an operation. Now he can see. Now he's going to try to come back out. He's going to even probably try to run for president. He said he would be president in 2020, which will not happen. I wrote him a letter. Oh, now you can see. Now you can see that you're not going to become president. Sorry, I'm hardcore. I deal with the truth. I die by the truth. I don't care what people say, think, or feel. Oh, that's too hard. Well, you won't listen any other way. Go to a born-again Christian church. Go to these churches that have 20,000 people in them. And that minister or preacher's out there screaming and yelling his head off at those people. And they're bending over, crying, and everything else. So it's not you sit back and talk nicely and say, hey, I was with a bunch of aliens. We had dinner last night. We had roasted chicken, and we had banana cream pie. I mean, people, wow, that's cool. I want to go on a ship with an alien and eat dinner. Is that what you want? You have no concept of what even getting on a ship would mean. There's only one thing alien races need. Blood. B-L-O-O-D. Not DNA, just blood. They can take it from a cow, and that's why the cattle are being mutilated. I go on, but no, I'm running out of time. Real fast. Well, the deities themselves, there's only 5 that became gods. There's, sorry, maybe it's 4, sorry. I call Lucifer, I don't know where to place him. He was the highest archangel. Highest archangel. Does that mean something to you people? I don't think so. Well, he went bad. He went bad just as, and I'll tell you one story that relates to that in great detail. I guess you know the story of Jesus and how he was killed. Do you? No, you don't. Well, the Bible said one of his disciples turned him in and gave him up. Well, do you know Judas was the closest person to Jesus next to Thomas? I was there. I was a female in that lifetime. Mary Magdalene was my closest friend. You don't have to believe that at all. Don't matter. But he was the closest to Jesus. Jesus knew none of the disciples would listen to him, which they didn't. He said, you're all going to forsake me when the time comes. And they all said, no, we wouldn't do that. And they all did. But who would turn Jesus in? Only a true spiritual follower of him, which was Judas. Now, he turned Jesus in because Jesus told him he had to. But that alone, imagine your teacher said you had to turn him in and then he gets killed. No matter how good or right or your teacher told you to do it, how would you feel after that? He couldn't deal with that emotions, not in the physical body. Still doesn't mean he was put into hell and all those kind of ideas. He did what he was told. Jesus had to die. He didn't have to run away to another country. He didn't run underground. He didn't save his body. If he did, he could have never shown anyone his teaching. His teaching was about life after death. Period. If you don't know anything else, that's what Jesus taught. Now, that being said, if he didn't die, they didn't understand a single word he said, because when he did die, they doubted everything they learned. And thanks to Mary Magdalene, they all learned the truth. I mean, Jesus did come back, said hello to all of them, and left. But it was Mary Magdalene that had finished teaching even Peter what Jesus was teaching. And it wasn't love. Read the Bible. Read the stories. Try to put your brain somewhere else other than the program, and you'll understand the truth. So, I don't know. I have so much I wanted to get into, but do you have compassion? People say they're compassionate. I love my dog while they kill and eat another dog. Is that compassion? That's man's compassion. Do you have an idea of a real God? You believe in the storybook God. You don't believe in what it really is. If you say you're talking to God, it's the biggest ego you can ever have. You can meet God. And just because you talk to God, talking to God, you could talk to ants. Until an ant turns around and says, hey, leave me alone. They're not saying anything back. And you'll believe whatever you want and say whatever you want. Well, I talked to God and God said this, God said that. Your mind's creative, very creative. And if you don't think aliens are involved with that, you better think again. What they did program man with wasn't hard. You know, the story is you get 10 people to believe that you're a healer, and they go out and say it, you'll get 100 more. And if those 100 people go out and say it, you'll get 1,000 more. If those 1,000 people, and it's just a chain, the more you get to say one thing, the more it's accepted. Why we accept man-made laws is because they got a few people that agree with them. Somewhere, somehow, by pathetic means, they did. All right. So now, we had 20,000 years between Atlantis and where we're at now. All right. And we are not spiritual at any level. At any level. Do you hear that? What alien race is spiritual? Oh, the ones that are in the blue light, white light. Light is only the reflection of their energy. But how do you know white and blue is of God? I know, I'll tell you, it is. But It's filtered through all the lower worlds. It comes out of God, goes through the astral plane down to the physical. But there's all the other realms. There's like 9 other realms it goes through before it gets down here. So it's watered down and filtered out. And the whole thing about dying, I don't have the time to go into that now. Death is only a temporary thing. But if you're not aware, you reincarnate. Another word people don't accept or don't want to. The Buddhist people do. Some people do. But you come back, you forget everything you have. Luckily, some people are aware of their past life, which is a good thing. It helps them take a step further in their path in this lifetime. But they could abuse it. Sex can get involved. Lucifer can stand in front of them and say, what do you care? So you were this or that. Wouldn't you want to have more fun right now? You can do anything you want on this planet. Have any kind of cheap thrill, exciting thrill. Pop any kind of drug you want. Stay high for 20 days or have sex for 10 days. I mean, whatever the desire. What is it you desire? Think about it. What do you want to attain by the time you die? To have money for your children? That's a good thing, but that's not what you came here for. If you had no children, no relationships, why did you come here? You didn't go out and preach to the world and tell them that they have to eat oatmeal because it'll save their lives if they get this disease. I mean, what did you come here for? What is your desire? Desire to have a good time, good feelings, good emotions. And that's what keeps people coming back. They believe those feelings are important, but it's all controlled by the mind. When you step out of the body, you're in soul body. It doesn't have the mind. It doesn't have the feelings, emotions, and the nervous system. You're dealing with different forms of energy in a totally different way. And I'll tell you this, it's 1,000 times better each level of awareness you attain into the next realm and the realm beyond that. Not the astral plane, that's just a holding ground for soul until it decides to make a step forward or backwards. So with that, I hope you got something out of today. Please, my email is Hawksblood1, AOL.com. My site is www.adventuresintothe.strange.com or God.org, either one. We are in the worst condition we have ever been in, planet Earth. Earth has to pay its own karma, which it will. And we're making that happen rather fast. I hope you choose to look for the truth. Every speaker you hear about aliens and UFOs and even deities and all these spiritual people that reigned on this planet. What did they teach about God? Nothing. Nothing. What did Jesus teach about God? A lot. If you didn't hear what he said, if you weren't there, you don't know what he said, it was never written down. And it's called the Secret Teachings of Jesus. The White Brotherhood kind of understand it, but they still don't follow it. So there's a lot of in-betweens and thoughts and things to work, to look through, check out the Emerald Tablets, that teaching, and all the things that different entities and beings tried to teach us. But no teacher is a good teacher unless they teach you how to go past them, which Jesus did. Buddha, Gandhi, and all those other people. Buddha had so many people, Gandhi had so many people killed. People have to make their own decision and live their life in their own way. And I hope you got the foundation or the belief or the energy to take the next step in your goal. If that's your goal, please, I'm sending you thoughts, compassion, that you find your truth and that you find out that it's real and that it's everything you need. So I'm sorry that it sounds hardcore, which it probably is, because truth is not love and compassionate energy. It's what it is. And we relate that to what being on planet Earth is, love and compassion and beautiful. Well, go beyond the physical world. Go beyond. We have 4 primary colors. Imagine there was 32 primary colors, how many colors you could create. Well, the worlds get more incredible as you move into them. But you don't hear people talking about that because very few people get past the astral plane and the silver cord keeps them attached to it whether they believe that or not. With that, I hope you got something. If you're not a woman, send this to women. If you're a woman, send it to every woman you know. They need to wake up, look at the truth, look at the facts, look at where they are. I mean, yeah, they can vote. They can go on the front line in the army and shoot people and kill them. I mean, if that's what you want, if that's what you think moving forward is as a spiritual being or a person, do it. Well, thanks everybody for tuning in. May the sun shine on you wherever you go, before you and back of you, below you, above you, and brings you what you want, and you're open to it. With that, peace, everyone.